Students, this is Ujjwal Patel from Maharaja Aghasin International College, Department of Commerce. I'll be teaching you in this lecture the summary of Unit 1. This is helpful for both BBA and BCom. That is the basic concept of demand and law of demand. We'll be discussing the important points that is very useful for you people. These topics come on exams and this is very important for you for Unit 1. So further we'll discuss the demand, concept of demand, law of demand, its exceptions, all those things. So let's start. The first one will go with the meaning of demand. What is demand? First we have to know what is demand. In common parlance we see demand means desire, but actually in economics we means demand as an effective demand. So for effective demand, demand must have different features. That is, demand depends upon the utility of commodity. Demand always means effective demand, and for effective demand that there should be desire for commodity, means to fulfill desire, and readiness to buy the commodity. These three things must be backed for a demand to be effective demand. What are the those three things that are very important? That is, desire for commodity, means to fulfill the desire, and readiness to buy the commodity. So if we go for definition, we can see that demand is the quantity of a good or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at a given price in a given time period. Each of us has an individual demand for particular goods and services, and our demand at each price reflects the value that we place on the product, linked usually to the enjoyment or usefulness that we expect from the consuming it, which means utility. It has talked about the utility. If there is utility in certain product, we buy it or we want that product because it has want satisfying power, that is known as utility. And because of utility there is demand happening for any good or service. In other words, demand is the relationship between the quantities of a good or service consumers will purchase and the price charged for that good. All these things combinedly makes demand. On the next slide we will talk about the law of demand. The law of demand states that all other things being equal, means constant, the quantity of goods or service is the function of price in general. That means less is bought at higher prices and more is purchased at lower price, which means there is inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. This definition makes sense. You only have to so much money to spend, and if the price of something goes up, means you have a limited amount of money. In that money, if price of certain goods goes up, we will afford less of it. So we can conclude that there is a inverse relationship between the price of goods and its demand, that is quantity. Demand here always means quantity demanded. As price fall, we can see expansion in demand, means if price fall there is large demand, and vice versa, means price rises then there is contraction demand, means demand will be low. Now ceteris paribus assumption. Ceteris paribus means other things remaining constant. You have to use in exam ceteris paribus, so that the one will check your copy, he must know that you know this concept. So you must mention ceteris paribus instead of other things remaining constant. So law of demand always assume other things remaining constant, so you will always write ceteris paribus assumption. Ceteris paribus means many factors affect demand. When drawing a demand curve, economists assume all factors are held constant except one, that is the price of the product, because there is always in law of demand we study the relationship between price and quantity demanded. So quantity demanded will be changed only by the change in price, and we will study what is the change in quantity demanded by the change in price. So only price will remain unconstant and every other factor than price will remain constant. The price of product itself, ceteris paribus, allows us to isolate the effect of one variable on the other variable, because there is effect of only single variable, that is price. The next is what are the exceptions of this law of demand. In what cases this law of demand or inverse relationship between price and quantity demand does not work. We have already discussed in our classes. Now we'll again discuss it. As first, Giffen good. What is Giffen good? This is named after Sir Robert Giffen. As what happened, he talked about the inferior good, which very high negative income elasticity. High negative income elasticity means When income increases, what did he find? He found income increases and the demand of the inferior goods decreased. Now actually what happened, when according to law of demand, when income increases they should increase the demand, but in given goods what happened, when income increase the demand for inferior commodity decreases. So there is does not satisfy law of demand. That is why it comes on the exceptions of law of demand. The good is consumed by low paid wage earners who spend a large proportion of their income to buy it. Examples of given goods are bajra and jowar. What happens when there is less amount of income, we consume bajra, but when gradually our income increases, then if our income increases in according to income effect, there should be more demand of bajra. But what happens, the law of demand does not work here, and the person whose income is being increased does not buy bajra. Instead he lessen the consumption of bajra and buy the more superior goods than bajra. Next is Veblen good. What is Veblen good? The good is named after Thorsten Veblen. The Veblen good is a prestigious good that we understand in common language, luxurious item or goods with status symbol. What happened, at any amount of price, the demand of these goods does not come down. Most suitable example of Veblen goods are diamond. Diamond, at any price the demand does not get affected because it is consumed by higher income class people. Next is bandwagon effect. It refers to kind of demonstration effect shown by a section of society which tends to imitate the consumption pattern of high income groups or some popular film star or other charismatic personality. What happens when any film star promote a product, whether it is affordable or not and whether our income allow or not, we go on imitating them and consume that product. So it also happens if the price is high, then also we go on consuming. So what happens, it is again the exception of law of demand. Next is emergency situation. In situation like flood, war, what happens, we see the prices of essential commodities rises up, but also again we go on consuming those goods because there is an emergency situation. Again what happened, it is exception of law of demand because law of demand does not work here. Next, snob appeal. What happened, when there is certain goods like having historical impact, cultural or sociological importance, it have a snob appeal. Examples of these are classic pieces of art, original manuscript, antique sculpture. What happened, at any price, those who are fond of these goods, they will buy it at any cost. And next is brand loyalty. Brand loyalty means when we consume any brand, for example, we can take an example of soap, for example Dove soap. If anybody is using Dove soap and he has brand loyalty for that, he loves that brand, at any price he will go on buying. So again it is the exception of law of demand. Law of demand does not work. Now we go next to the demand curve. Demand curve is downward sloping. We have demand curve, this is price and quantity, and demand curve is downward sloping. If you take demand schedule, then after joining that schedule, many types of demand, we get different prices and quantity demanded. We get the demand schedule. From demand schedule we get the demand curve. Now we see the demand curve, it slopes downward. The main important thing is why does this demand curve slopes downward. Now we will explain it. The demand curve shows the relationship between price of an item and quantity demanded over a period of time. There are two reasons why more is demanded as price falls. In other words, we can say that there are two reasons for downward sloping of demand curve. What are they? The two reasons: income effect and substitution effect. Income effect, when price of a good falls because the consumer can maintain the same consumption for less expenditure. Provided that the good is normal, some of the resulting increase in real income is used to buy more of this. What happens when income falls? It results in more purchasing power. Now more purchasing power means they will demand high. Now what happened? At one hand income falls, and because of income effect demand increases. Now what is happening? One falls and other increases, means price falls, or income falls, demand increases, means it is again law of demand. So law of demand, and because of law of demand, demand curve slopes downwards. And next is substitution effect. The substitution effect, there is substitution effect when the price of good falls because the product is now relatively cheaper than the alternative item, and some consumers switch their spending from alternative good or service. For example, we have tea and coffee. When the price of tea increases, what happens? Consumer will move to coffee and the demand of coffee will increase. Now what happens? One hand price is increasing and demand of tea, the first good, will decrease and the demand of other good will increase, and vice versa. What will happen? At one hand, the price of one commodity is increasing or decreasing, the quantity of another good will increase and decrease, and vice versa. So it will result in again law of demand. The relationship between consumers' optimal choice of quantity of a good and its price is very important, and this relation is called demand function. Thus, the consumer's demand function for a good gives the amount of a good that the consumer chooses at different level of its price when the other things remain unchanged, means ceteris paribus again. This is very important to learn, ceteris paribus. The consumer's demand for a good as a function of its price can be written as Q is equal to demand D of P. It is known as consumer's Marshallian demand function, known after economist Alfred Lord Marshall, where Q denotes the quantity and P denotes the price of goods. Next is, we have already discussed, demand function can be represented by graphically, and graphically demand curves slopes downward, and this is the demand curve. Next is, what are the determinants of demand? How is demand get determined? First is price of related goods, means goods are either complementary or substitutes are available for that good. In case of complement, as their prices increase, it would also lead to decrease in the demand of other goods of which they are complement, and vice versa. For example, if petrol prices rises, the demand for car will fall, because without petrol we cannot run car. And what happens of substitute? In case of substitute goods, if their price increases, it would also lead to increase in the demand of product. Tea and coffee again, if price of tea increases, what will happen to the demand of coffee? In one hand, with price of tea increases, coffee's demand will also increase, because now people who were drinking tea, they will now shift to the coffee. Next is income of consumers. Income is one of the factors that bear a negative relationship with the demand of product. There is inverse relationship between demand and income. When income increases, demand, what will happen? Negative relationship means normally we have expect that as one's income rises, means or falls, the demand for a product will rise or fall, because we normally expect it to be true. A good for which this statement is true is called normal good, but when we have exception in demand curve like Giffen goods and Veblen effect, what happened? The opposite one works. Occasionally we shall encounter good for which the statement is not true. These were called inferior goods. For these goods, as income rises, the demand for a product fall. So for normal good, what will happen? When income increases, the demand will also increase for inferior goods, and for normal goods, and it will be negative effect. It will have negative effect on the inferior goods. The third is taste or preferences of the consumers, means it involves the fact that there are certain psychological reasons for liking or disliking a particular good. When we like, what will happen? Our principle is the more we like the good or serve, the greater is our demand for it. For example, chocolates for kids, when there is high price rise, then also they will go on consuming it. Expectation of future price. The basic principle in this case is that consumers' current demand will increase if they expect higher future price. For example, what happened in lockdown? If we knew that there is a lockdown going to happen, we will buy goods in higher prices also, and it happened practically. Their demand will decrease if they expect lower future prices. Population, number of buyers. What happened in population? The last factor affecting demand is population. The number of buyers affects overall or aggregate demand. As more buyers enter the market rises, so does the quantity demanded, even if prices don't change. Therefore, if there are more buyers, there must be more market demand. Means what happened? Number of buyers affects overall or aggregate demand, we can say. When more buyer in the market rises, the quantity demanded will increase. Therefore, if there are more buyers, there must be more market demand. In next slide. So, this was all about the summary of demand and law of demand. The most important topics has been discussed, and I'll try to make more topics, more videos on the other topics as well. Till then, thank you students, have a good day ahead.